Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief. You guys join me every Monday to Thursday for your top stories from Israel. Of course, we have had a lot to discuss because Israel is currently engaged in a war with Hamas. And today marks day 146 since the start of the war. We always keep the hostages in our thoughts, in our prayers. We have over 130 hostages still being held captive by Hamas, and we want them home now. Bring them home now. We have all indications that Hamas have turned down the latest agreement for a ceasefire. It's not confirmed, but all indications are pointing there. So for everybody calling for a ceasefire, please remember who the party is that consistently turns down any kind of ceasefire. Let's get into the top stories, and the IDF has released footage which shows a Palestinian crowd encroaching on a humanitarian aid truck. Earlier today, Hamas said that 104 Palestinians had been killed by the IDF as they approached the truck. However, the IDF have said that dozens of Palestinians were killed due to looting and overcrowding. We would caution everybody not to just believe what you see in the media. This is an ongoing investigation, and to remember what happened with the Al Ali hospital incident on the 17th of October, where Hamas blamed Israel for an airstrike that killed 500 Palestinians, but in reality it was a Palestinian Islamic missile that malfunctioned, landed in the car park, not the hospital, and killed several dozens. The IDF say they did open a fire. They didn't say if anybody was injured or not. They did say that Palestinians were encroaching on troops in a way that would be threatening. So this is ongoing as far as an investigation is concerned. Let's wait for the final verdict. We also had an incident last week where Palestinians claimed that a young girl was killed by Israeli forces. And on further investigation, it was found that Israeli forces were not operational anywhere near where the young girl was found. Meanwhile, Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas and mastermind behind the October the 7th attacks, told Hamas officials in Qatar that he welcomes the civilian death toll, that the higher the number, the more pressure it puts on Israel to end the war. So we have to be very cognizant of how Hamas manipulates the media and manipulates the global community in order to put the pressure on Israel. Yesterday, we brought you that story about airdrops. These were the airdrops of aid in coordination with the IDF, Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, France, Egypt, and the United States. Heavy winds blew one of those packages into Israel. I'm sure the IDF will ensure that it gets back into the Gaza Strip. It's not of any threat to Israelis. And we have heard from Canadian officials and US officials that they are considering more and more of these kind of airdrops because getting aid into the Gaza Strip is becoming problematic once it enters. We can't forget that last week the World Food Aid Program suspended their aid packages into the Gaza Strip, saying that looting and violence amongst Palestinians had made it impossible to send in aid. So from Israel's perspective, we check the aid trucks. We ensure that as much aid gets in as humanly possible. Once it's in, it is up to the United Nations and aid organizations to ensure that that aid is distributed. We now go down under to New Zealand, who have designated all of Hamas, including their political wing, as a terrorist organization, and they cite the atrocities of the 7th of October as their rationale for doing this. They have also imposed sanctions on what they call extremist settlers. These are settlers who have attacked Palestinians or set fire to Palestinian property, including olive groves as well. And you don't really hear many objections in Israel to countries who have sanctioned anybody who has engaged in this kind of extremist behavior. And finally, last week I brought you the story about Prince William, who had released a statement where he called for an increased amount of humanitarian aid into Gaza and for the immediate release of the hostages. Now, his statement caused a lot of hullabaloo in the United Kingdom and some places around the world. People saying, why is he interfering? Why is he getting political? Why is he talking about Gaza? Personally, I found his statement to be very, very balanced. It came from a humanitarian point of view. We can't forget that his late mother very, very much was a humanitarian. And she took a lot of flack when she started talking about landmines. Well, today, the Prince of Wales has visited the Western Marble Arch Synagogue. He has met with young activists who are ambassadors for the Holocaust Education Trust, who are fighting anti-Semitism as well as Holocaust survivors. And he said, anti-Semitism has no place in society. He says, Catherine and I are extremely worried about rising anti-Semitism in the United Kingdom, which has been rising as it has in countries around the world. And this is all what Jews want. We want allies, we want other communities to listen to us, to hear our concerns, and it is with much gratitude to the future king that he has taken the time to express his concerns. He was wearing a yarmulke, a kippah, when he met with these young activists, and we are very, very moved by his comments, and especially as he reflects the concerns of his wife, the Princess of Wales, who we wish a speedy recovery. So thank you, Prince William. Last week he met with the British Red Cross. I don't know if that forms part of the international Red Cross, but he met with the British aid workers. This week he is listening to the Jewish community and hearing our concerns. And that brings me to the end of today's edition of the Israel Brief. Please don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our YouTube page is, or our YouTube channel is right here at the Israel Brief. If you like our content, please subscribe by clicking on the red button. Our Facebook community, is at Lottle's site. We're on X at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks. This has been the Israel Brief. Guys, I want to wish you a wonderful weekend. Shabbat Shalom. Stay safe wherever you are. Take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you again on Monday. Bye for now.